Emily Thornberry, a former Labour leadership candidate, said that the failure to have a vote on Brexit policy and a proper debate was a slap in the face for democracy.
Yeah, it's exactly the opposite. So what happens is that the constituency parties put in various motions, and then the delegates vote on what it is that they want to have a debate and a vote on. We had a debate in the hall this morning on foreign policy, and there was a lot of discussion about Brexit, but there wasn't a vote.
Deep divisions over Brexit.
Well, yes, but the point is that the delegates decided what we were going to vote on.
But part of the way the delegates came to that decision was, as you'll know, an email from Momentum on Saturday urging people to vote in a certain, to specify in a certain order what the debate should be, leaving Brexit way down the line. Now, that's not grassroots freedom, is it?
Well, yes, it is, because, of course, have you ever met a Labour Party member? Have you ever tried to tell them what to do? They will do what they think is the best thing to do, and they want to vote on things where they feel they can make a contribution and where a vote will make a difference. And it may well be, and I hope this is the case, that the majority of delegates in fact feel that Labour has a position which is important and certainly in contrast to the government's, and that we do not need to be voting on specific elements of that policy now.
You would like perhaps to see a snap election within even a few months. So you would then be, if you won, you would be the party of government. So let's go through a few things. Are you in favour of staying in the single market?
I think that what we should be doing is we should be putting the interests of the economy first and foremost, and the safety and security of our citizens.
Yeah, but that, you can say that any time, any decade.
No. We have said that we are not sweeping anything off the table because this is a negotiation. Right. This is a negotiation. Now, nobody pretends that the referendum was not, and an important part of that was immigration, and nobody pretends that there is not a problem with staying in the single market if the interpretation of freedom of movement is as it has been until now.
So that you therefore rule out any situation where you stay in the single market if that means free movement. That's absolutely out.
Nothing is being swept off the table, but what we are saying is that we need to look again at freedom of movement. We need to make sure that we have fair rules and manage migration, and we will be negotiating with the European Union whereby we do need to have changes to our rules. We do need to have a clearer idea.
Well, what would you give up then? What would you give up? If you wanted to remain in the single market but corral free movement in some way, you'd have to be able to give something back. You can't take everything. What would you give back?
We are so many steps away from sitting at a table with the European Union and negotiating that it would be wrong at this stage for me to be sitting here with you, much as I'd like to, and start talking about red lines. Remember a year ago when Theresa May stood up at Tory party conference and started spraying red lines around? She has completely boxed herself in and has not allowed herself to be able to negotiate properly as a result. We learn these lessons.
You learn these lessons, but the problem is that people actually don't know what Labour's position is beyond a period of transition. So, for example, I'm asking this straightforwardly, do you rule out remaining in the single market?
We are not sweeping anything off the table, and we will go into negotiations in good faith. But part of that has to be taking with us the message that we got from the British people, which is that we need to look again at the rules around migration.
Jeremy Corbyn said yesterday the single market has within it restrictions on state aid and state spending and pressure on it. I think we need to be very careful what powers we need as a national government. He's got a point.
Yes, and the difficulty is to what extent it's a real fear, and to what extent it's one which was puffed up, frankly, by the British civil service. When we were in government, there were many times in which we wanted to be able to get maximum bang for our buck. So, for example, if a council wanted to take out, they were going to have a contract with a private contractor, we wanted to be able to say, get some apprentices, make sure you're paying the living wage. And we were told at that point by civil servants that that was contrary to EU competition law. Now, the question really is that actually true, or is it a very conservative interpretation of the rules? These are the sorts of things we need to look at, because we do not want to hamper our ability to be able to spend state money as effectively as possible.
So there may be quite stark choices to make for Labour, and you have to maybe make them very, very soon. I mean, I understand, of course, that you do want to be vague. That's what you're being. You're being vague. You might say...
I'm being honest.
And vague.
I'm being practical.
And vague.
I'm being as straightforward as I can be in the interest of the country.
But in the interest of the country, you would like to see a Labour government and you would like to see a snap election. So you may be in a position of having to implement policy in less than 6 months. Where is policy on Europe going to be made if it's not made here in the great democracy of the new Labour Party?
It's being made in conjunction with our membership. We have many conversations. It's made every time we talk to people on the doorstep.
Emily Thornberry, thank you.